Hi folks, welcome to EDU 250. My name is Cindy Dean. I am the instructor for this course. My teaching assistant for this course is Jana Prout. She'll introduce herself here in the announcements later on before the course begins. This video is meant to introduce you to the Blackboard site, to give you a tour, to show you how to navigate it. When you open your Blackboard site, you will land on the announcements. So this is the landing page. You can see here that I've given a placeholder for the video that I'm now recording, so you'll be able to access that here. And then there's also a Blackboard tutorial for those of you who are new to online courses. I highly recommend that you look at that tutorial if you are new, or even if you're not new. Sometimes there are some things that you may not know. About this course site is just another another place to give you some explanation of what is available here. So here's what's in each course menu. This is important. Blackboard does not play well with Internet Explorer. It does not play well with Safari. So it works best with Firefox. If you don't have Firefox, download it, because otherwise you'll have issues. Chrome works sometimes, but not always. So I highly recommend you put Firefox on your computer to access Blackboard. Technical and Blackboard support is just where you can get help. It's also where you can download Firefox, so you can just click here and download it. And then resources for those of you who are new, etc. Learning resources, I don't use this tab. The only thing there is the library, but if you need help reaching the library, here's an easy way to get there. Instructor information is about me. My picture of me taken a couple of summers ago. I still kind of look the same, I think. And how to contact me, my telephone number, email, and so forth. And here's also Jana's email for contacting her as well. The most important place, oops, I skipped one, sorry. The most important thing, though, is to now look at the syllabus. I want you to read it thoroughly. I'm going to give you a whirlwind tour of it right now, but I want you to really read it and pay attention to it. If you haven't gotten your book yet, the bookstore is linked here. Please get your book early, because otherwise you'll be behind before you get started. So all the usual suspects are here on a syllabus, you know, the description and so forth. I want to call your attention to the highlighted, bolded piece here. Even though we don't meet in person, I assign a day that work is assigned, and a day is due. So there are parameters here. You can't just do this on your own time when you feel like it. So the course meets on Tuesday. So what that means is that every Tuesday, the course folder is up with the work for the week. For the readings, the videos you need to watch, supplemental readings, discussion forums, and then any work that's assigned that week, unless otherwise noted, is due the following Monday by midnight. Okay, so our first class meeting is January 13th. That is when you will access the folder. You could access it before then, but that's when it's assigned. Any work there will be due by Monday, January 19th at midnight. Okay? All right. So I have a September example there. It's kind of the default one. But January 13th, it'll be due by January 19th. Discussion forums are very important. They're a big chunk of your grade. They're not optional. And it's the way that we make this course collaborative and collegial. So we're not out there in our living rooms or, you know, all by ourselves. That we are participating in the course, that we are interacting with our peers, be it asynchronous, but we're interacting with them. You have a discussion forum each week, and this discussion is assigned. I expect quality posts. I expect them to be supported. I expect them to be pertinent to the conversation for that week. I don't expect it to be totally subjective. I expect there to be some objectivity as well. So in other words, it's not enough to say, I like this, this is what I've always done, I'm always going to do it. I want to see academic discussions. I want to see conversations that make sense to each other. I want you to help one another, support one another, and so forth. The other thing I want to see are timely posts. If you wait until Monday at 11 o'clock in the evening to do this, you will not get full points. I expect you to get the reading done earlier in the week and get your posts up here relatively early. You need to allow time for others to be able to read it. And if you're waiting to the last minute, there's not going to be an opportunity for someone to read your work and to respond to it. And that's crucial to a good conversation. I realize that many of you reserve weekends to do your work, which is fine. Weekends will be fine. But plan it early in the week rather than earlier in the weekend rather than later in the weekend. I expect you to respond to at least 2 people. I've given you word ranges here in terms of what I expect in a substantial post. I don't want it to be 3 pages long, too much to read, but it's a conversation, and I want to see a substantial conversation. I'll let you read the rest of it, okay? And then it will be scored on a rubric. The rubrics are here. You should be able to open those up and look at those, so you'll see what the criteria is. Most important, extend the conversation, okay, so that you're not just rehashing what somebody else said, but you're bringing new information. You're extending it. You're giving us maybe a reference to look at, a website, some information from your own knowledge or work experience, so that it's really keeping that conversation fresh and alive. It says here that late posts and responses will not be considered, and they won't. There are always exceptions, and you need to let me know if there's something that's in your way of you doing this, but generally speaking, if it's late, I'm not going to look at it. You're going to get a 0 on it. Let me or Jana know if there's extenuating circumstances. Expect all your work to be submitted on time in the correct submission tab or forum. So there are submission tabs for all your work. Don't email me your work. It will get lost. I can guarantee it. I have a lot of students. And unless there's some technological issue that prevents you from submitting it on Blackboard, I need to have it in Blackboard. And if there is some issue that you can't, explain it to me first before you email it to me. And if I say email it to me, that's fine, because I'll be expecting it and put it in a place where I know where it is. But I get lots and lots of emails a day, and it could very easily get lost, and I don't want that to happen. Make sure that you allow enough time to do the work of the course, of any online course. Make sure you've given time for reviewing the material, reading the material, viewing the videos, reading any supplemental information, constructing your discussion forums, and completing assignments. And I've given you some parameters here. I'll let you read those. And I'll let you read about what you can expect from me as well. We've already talked about contacting me. You need an internet access and a computer with audio and video capacities for this course. Here are some writing resources for you, and here are the learning outcomes. They are aligned with the main teaching standards. The main teaching standards are comprised of the INTAST and NETS standards. You're going to look at those this week as part of your work. We're going to talk more about it next week. These are the 3 standards or outcomes for this particular course. I'd like you to spend some time looking at these. I particularly pulled out essential knowledge and critical dispositions for each one of these standards. One of the assignments for this week will be to read the standards, so you'll have a chance to cross-reference these and look to see what these are. That's why I didn't actually write them all in here, because I want you to go beyond the anchor standard and look at what these are. What is 2J, 2K, what is 2L, and 2M, okay? More resources for you. And then the grading scale and the weighted grades. Pay attention to this. This is how things work. So you'll see discussions forums at 20%. It's a big chunk of your grade. Academic integrity. I'm assuming you all understand that. If not, please read the academic code. If you need an accommodation, here's the information. Here are the assignments that you will be doing. 4 RAPS assignments. These are portfolio assignments, and we'll talk about those later. A philosophy paper, a history of education paper. These are short papers. Discussion forums, and your final portfolio, which will be an e-portfolio, and more on that later. Here is a thumbnail sketch of the 14 weeks that we have in this course, but do not go by this for the work. Go by the course folder. This is just an outline of what's happening. This is my contract with you, and it is subject to change. All syllabi are subject to change, but these will be fleshed out in the course folders. So let me take you there. This is the meat of the course. Pay attention to this. Each week there will be a folder with a title, and I've titled them with the chapters of the book that we'll be looking at, because we're going to follow the text in terms of how we do this course. And the date that it's assigned is here. So Tuesday, January 13th, this is assigned. And you open this folder up, and everything you need is here. I generally start each of the folders with the instructions for the week. These are the things you need to do. And then below that are the links and the explanation for that. So introduce yourself in the discussion forum, watch the video lecture and view the PowerPoint, read Chapter 1, read Beyond the Stacks, read the Teach for America articles, review the main teaching standards, and complete the discussion forum. So you can see you have to allow some work here, okay? 2.5 hours you'd be in a regular classroom. You need to be devoting here to some of this work and beyond. These are all linked. If you have to go somewhere else, it's linked. So here for introductions, when you click on this, it takes you to the discussion forum where you can introduce yourself right here, okay? I also include a question and comments forum and discussion. This is just open. If you have questions, I check this periodically and answer questions people have. If you need a question right away, email me. But if you have a question, somebody else may have it as well, and I could answer it for everybody. You can also put comments in here. You can ask questions of your peers. You can add additional resources if you have them. But the introductions are here, and I've given you some criteria for the introduction. And I will put my own introduction in here as well. I have not done that yet, but I will do so to give you a sense of what that looks like. The video for Chapter 1 is completed. It's just being uploaded and rendered now on YouTube, but I will put that here, and you'll be able to click on that and watch that video. It's about 20 minutes this week. Then there's the PowerPoint that doesn't go along with my lecture, but it's a kind of a outline of the chapter. It's like, again, you can use it to take notes, and I do hope you keep a notebook and keep notes somewhere so that you can refer back to them. Your reading assignments here, you're going to read Chapter 1, and then you're also going to read Beyond the Stacks, which is about librarians. Very important for us to acknowledge that librarians are teachers and very important to teachers. Click on this, it'll take you to the article. And then below are several articles about Teach for America. I'd like you to look at those in terms of, as we move forward, about what that means. And I'm going to put a little bit of a video, a little audio here about why I'm asking you to read these. But it's important that we sort of understand the alternate ways of certification that are out there and their affordances and constraints. And then the main teaching standards here, again, you're going to be looking at the anchor standards, and then you're going to open these up and take a look at them. You don't have to read every single word. We're going to talk more about this in the next class, but I would like you to pay attention to those. And then your discussion forum, why teach, okay? So each week will look like this, okay? So if I open up next week, you'll see it looks very much the same. That video is already up, okay, and so forth. The other things you need to know about over here, the discussion forum that I already took you to, all the discussions are linked over here. You can see that they're all up. Don't try to do a discussion forum without doing the work of the course, please. The wraps, which I will explain later, I'm not going to explain those today. These are 4 assignments that you'll do throughout this semester. The history of education paper here, philosophy of learning and teaching, and the final portfolio. So the major assignments for the course are linked over here. And they'll also be linked in the course content. So don't think you have to do these right away. You can see that the due dates are there. Before the due dates, I will, give you more instructions on those, okay? You can access your grades here. You can email others here, and so forth. So that's how my Blackboard site works. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Spend some time, noodling around with it and looking at it and reading the stuff. Don't ask me a question about the final portfolio now because there'll be more instruction as we move forward. So I can't have everything here, just as in a live class, you wouldn't have all the information to begin with. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know, but I'm looking forward to working with you this semester, and it's going to be a great one because we start cold and we end up in the warm, wonderful spring. Have a great day.